are getting my screen on
Yes,
your
sir.
video?
Your screen is visible, sir.
Uh,
Clearly
today
visible, sir.
Yesterday we have studied about the NumPy, which is the numeric Python. We have studied about the arrays and these all. And today we start the pandas, and then we do the EDA. EDA means the exploratory data analysis. Okay. And that is the basically there we study about the univariate analysis. That is also called the descriptive analysis. That is the bivariate analysis, their multivariate analysis we perform in EDA and exploratory data analysis. Exploratory data analysis name is given to it with reference to machine learning whenever we perform machine learning task. So first of all, our 60 to 80% time we have to spend for EDA. You know? We understand the data and we analyze the data and we make the data in a proper form. And then we apply the machine learning module, whatever we train the data later. And when we train the data, it's not a big task to train the data. There is a algorithm or the codes of the algorithms are available everywhere. We just have to pass our data, training data, and we have to train the model. Then we see the performance of the model. Then we optimize the performance, and then we again change the data as per the requirement. So the EDA takes our lots of time. That is the main task of the machine learning experts. Okay. So
Sir,
yeah.
sir, is principal component analysis related to EDA?
नहीं EDA principal component analysis is a part of EDA, but we will not cover in this session because there is so many type of things we have to cluster analysis also there. PCA we have so many things, the Varimax and some other methods are also there. So there we have to conduct one theoretical, I mean the conceptual lecture, which is of 1.5 hours for the PCA. So because we have to tell everything about the principal component analysis. Okay. There are some other things also we have to discuss. So it will not cover in this session.
Okay, sir.
So it's a big topic. And it's there are so many statistics we have to explain them.
Yeah.
Okay. It will be in the pandas. It will be in our Python advanced. It will cover.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Because in this 6 day session, it is not possible to cover all the things. Okay. Main thing is you have to make aware about the the Python and these all libraries like NumPy, Python, basic commands of Python. So it takes very long time. If it is only for the statistical part, then it may be covered in the 4 or 5 and 6 days only. So we start with pandas. What is pandas we see? Pandas was initially developed by Wes McNee in 2008 and Cheng Xi joined as the second major contribution to the library in 2012. Okay. Pandas is an open source BSD licensed Python library providing high performance, easy to use data structures and data analysis tools for Python programming language. It is very useful in the machine learning and some other analysis tasks in the data science and data analytics tasks. Pandas has a major role. Python with Pandas is used in a wide range of fields, including academic and commercial domains, including financial, economics, statistics, analytics, etc. In this tutorial, we will learn the various features of Python Pandas and how to use them in practice. Okay. Pandas library that is made mainly for working with relational or labeled data, both easily and intuitively. Labeled and relational data in the Excel type sheet. Yeah, everybody knows the Excel sheet. And like that, we could give the column name and this thing. It provides varied data structure and operations for manipulating numerical data and time series. Okay. This library is built on the top of the NumPy library. Okay, so Pandas is fast and it has high performance and productivity for users. So Pandas is generally used for data science, but you wonder why. This is because Pandas is used in conjunction with other libraries that are used for data science. It is built on the top of NumPy, as I already explained. It means that a lot of structures of NumPy are used or replicated in Pandas. So it is a very much integrated with NumPy, interaction and integrated. The data produced by Pandas is often used as input for plotting functions, which we use the further libraries for visualization, like Matplotlib and Seaborn. For statistical analysis, we use SciPy, and the machine learning algorithm we use for scikit-learn. So library also in Pandas. Pandas program can be run from any text editor, but it is recommended to use Jupyter Notebook for this, as Jupyter given the ability to execute code in particular cell rather than executing the entire file, as we have seen already. So we prefer the Jupyter. We also prefer the Jupyter when we develop a machine learning model, the prototype. When we develop a machine learning model, because we have a different cell and we write the code, then we then run the code, and if there is any bug or something, so then we could rectify it in a particular small shell. Write code in the PyCharm or there's some other sort of file. If I write this, so then I had to run the whole code and then I rectify one by one. So it will take very long time. Sometimes so it is better to we prototype we make in Jupyter, and then we finally we work with PyCharm and other some other also we have text editor which we use. And the Jupyter also provides an easy way to visualize Pandas data frame and plots. There is a %matplotlib inline we use there. And key features of Pandas, if we see, fast and efficient data frame object with default and customized indexing. You see that in the Panda, in the Python basics, there was, we have seen the data types like the numbers were there, strings were there, then list, and then we have seen there tuple and then we have seen their set, and finally the dictionary. But we have not seen their data frame. We have to work with the data, as we are the who has attended my program of R programming. So we are all working on the data frame. There is a data type data frame, but in the Python, the basic Python, there is no data frame data type. So Pandas has that ability. We could convert the dictionary in a data frame. Tools for loading data into in-memory data objects from different file formats we could upload. We could read it through the Pandas, help of Pandas. Data alignment and integrated handling of missing data. If there is some missing data, we could see the data's missing data. Also reshaping and pivoting of data sets. We could grouping the data sets. And label-based slicing, indexing, subsetting of large data sets. Okay. Columns from a data structure can be deleted or inserted. Okay. Group by data for aggregation and transformation. And the high performance merging and joining of data. And the time series functionality is also there in the Pandas. So Pandas is, we have 3 module in the Pandas. And these modules are series, data frame, and panel. So in this session, we just a little bit talk about the series and the data frame. We will not talk about the panel. And what is series we see? Series is the one-dimensional, we could say the one-dimensional labeled homogeneous array, size immutable. Okay, size we could not mute the size in the series. Okay, if it is the 5 elements, we could not mute it. It is immutable. It is the homogeneous. The if there are numeric, so it should be numeric only. and it is a strings, then there should be strings only. If we talk about the data frame, and that it is a general 2D labeled the rows and columns, and the size mutable tabular structure with potentially heterogeneously typed columns. We have the different columns have the different data types, like there is a number, there is a strings. So different data types we should have columns. And the panel is the 3D labeled size mutable array. You know? So we'll not talk about the panel. We will just study about the series and data frames. And I will show you a little bit about this. The series is one-dimensional array-like structure with homogeneous data. For example, following series you see here, the collection of few integers like 10, 23, 56, 17 in this way. The key points you see here, the homogeneous data is there, size immutable. If there are how many items, you could write only that. And the values of data mutable, but values we could mute. Instead of 61, you want to write 31, you could write there 31, you could change the values, but you could not increase the size of series. Okay. Or decrease the size of series. Whenever you have to remove an element, then you could put there NA. It could not be, you could not delete the cell completely. You could not delete the cell completely. So that is the series. In the pandas data frame is two-dimensional size mutable potentially heterogeneous tabular data structure with labeled axis. Labeled axis, you already know that the axis 1 and axis 0. Axis 0 is for rows and the axis 1 for column. So the same is here. A data frame is a two-dimensional data structure, and data is aligned in a tabular fashion in rows and columns. Pandas data frame consists of three principal components. So what these three components we see? First is the data, second is the rows, third is the columns. So these the data we have. These all thing is the data, and you see these are our columns and these are our rows. Okay. Key points of if we see that it is heterogeneous and the series is homogeneous. It is a heterogeneous. Series is not size mutable. It is the size mutable. It is data mutable also. So series is data mutable. We could change the value of the data in the series. Here also we could change the value of the data in particular. So it is the all about the pandas, and this is a little bit I have explained about the panel. Okay, not we go in the deep in the panel. Panel is a three-dimensional data structure with heterogeneous data. It is hard to represent the panel graphical representation. We could not present the panel graphical representation. It could not be visualized in this way. But a panel can be illustrated as a container of data frame. We have different data frames. Right? So it has been kept in one container. So you could assume in this way. And key points of the heterogeneous data, the same thing as we perform with data frame, and the same way here also. The heterogeneous data, size mutable, data mutable, everything. So there is a minor axis and the major axis, and the items are there. Items are the data frames. Okay. So these are all about our pandas, little introduction about the pandas. And now we do the practical about the pandas. So in the pandas, what I have explained is already written here again. You could also see this. Okay.
Sir, one query, sir.
Yeah.
As in R, for all the libraries, we need to install it separately, no, sir. So the same applies here for Python also.
No, if you have installed the Anaconda,
Ah.
you will get all the essential libraries there already in default.
Okay.
You have got
Heterogeneous data means what, sir? Heterogeneous data means?
Heterogeneous, we have the strings in the one column and the numeric in another column, integer like something.
It's in 3 into 3 dimensional or 3 into 4?
It is heterogeneous. One column have a string and one column have the different sort of columns may be there in the data frame, not the same data type. Like one is a numeric, like age of the person, which is the numeric purely. And the one is the gender. Gender is not a numeric. It is a male and female and transgender. So it is a categorical. So this is called the heterogeneous columns. Got it, sir?
Got it.
So what I was talking about, you will get all the libraries already in default, like the NumPy is there with Anaconda, Pandas is there, Matplotlib is there, Seaborn is there already installed with when you install the Anaconda, and scikit-learn is also there along with it. So most
Okay, sir.
other than these, also few libraries are there already installed with Anaconda. So I prefer to install the Anaconda instead to install Python and then do you again then separately you install the Jupyter. And
Yes, sir. Got it.
at that moment you have to install each and every library. Okay. So in the first, in the initial stage, it is better to learn through the Anaconda. Then you, when you learn, then you could use any sort of IDE or whatever you want.
Sir, these make your system little slow, this Anaconda, because after installation, I observed my system become very slow with the other operations.
Maybe, sir, maybe. It depends on the RAM of the system. Or you could delete the temporary files, whatever you have it deleted or it not, the temporary
No,
files.
sir, I haven't deleted anything.
So I will
I supposed to ask you, sir, is there any way कि services को off कर सकते हैं हम लोग and फिर वापस on कर सकते हैं, ऐसा कुछ होता है?
No. If you closed it and close the server is the main thing. You have to close the server always when you close the Jupyter.
Okay.
That is the control C you have to use, and up to the file path you want get keep it on, and again you do the control C if it don't stop. Then when you get the path, the original path of the file, then you close it. Or second thing, you always whenever you work, you see on the my screen I'm showing you. The most of you already know about this thing, but whenever you start your work in a day, first you %10%.
Okay.
And this folder you will get and enter it, and here you will get the temporary files are here which are remains on your RAM.
Oh.
It slows down your system.
Okay.
So Control A, select all and delete. And when you delete, it will ask some skip, some it will not be deleted. So you skip it, few of them. And after that, what you have to do, just a moment. Also from the recycling bin, you have to empty it immediately.
Oh, okay.
Please ask me again.
Okay, I will
This
explain.
will help you a lot, sir. Thank you very much.
It's you click on the start button, then %temp in small, then % again. You will get this folder temp and click on this. Okay.
Yeah.
And Control A and delete. So it will delete the file or whatever it demand skip. So you could skip it. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
So it will remove the files which are on the RAM. The temporary files always remains there. Some clusters there. So it is very important when you start the work. So it will boost your the speed of your system. Okay. So now we see how to import the pandas and how to create the series. First we see the series, then we see the data frame. And here you see we have to import pandas as PD. PD is generally the universally people use the PD allies for this. You could write something else also, but the PD is better. It is the good practice if you use the allies universally use. So this we import that library here. And I am making one empty series, okay, and print is. So I will see what I get. I'm not getting anything here. I'm getting series, empty series, data type. It is the float 64. 64 bytes I have this. And create a series from ND array. If you have an ND array already, or you want to convert that in a series, so how you could convert it? So here, import pandas, we have already import pandas. I will not again import panda. And the data, I am making an NP array. Array we have already studied yesterday, NumPy array. So np.array, and I'm making this array ABCD. So this is the array creation, and I print the data. this array I will print here. And then first I remove all the outputs, and then I convert this array in series. Okay. And then I print the series also. Series I am using the S. Okay. So I will show you what happens. NP I have not imported. Okay. So I import.
We have to recall NumPy.
NumPy I have not imported. So that is okay. So it is now, and I run this. You see I have got this. So ABCD is my array, which is I have printed this array I have printed here. Then I converted this array in series. You see the series, I am getting the index in the series 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this I am getting it. Okay. So this is, I am converting an one dimensional array in series. Okay. And now here I am making, I'm changing this index number. I want to change this index. I don't want 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want 100, 101, 102, 103. So what I will do, I will write this array, what I have data. I don't have to write it again because I have already data here. So if I don't run it, no problem. Okay, the same I am taking. So the PD series, what I will do, data I have taken the previous cell also. The same is here, but one attribute I will include here, index equal to, in the list we have to write the index. And this, the square bracket is basically mention the list, the basic list. So the 100, 102, whatever the indexing you want, you could allow it. And then I print it. So you will see 100, 101. So this is the thing what we are doing here. We could change the index. No, we could change the index number here. Now the create a series from dictionary. We have created the series from list. Now we are converting the dictionary into series. So there is a dictionary. I am taking A colon 0, B colon 1, and C colon 2. And this is my data now, and I will convert in dictionary and I will show you. So you'll see it is my dictionary and it is in this way. Okay. So this I got in the dictionary. Why I am getting this double? Because I have put their point. Okay. So it is the double. If I put on keep only 0, 1, 2, then it will be not a float. So you could try this later. Now we could change the index. Yeah.
Sir, in the earlier part, actually, we would need to apply this import NumPy as NP over here. No, or we have already used it.
Yeah, once we have to apply only once.
Okay.
Again and again, no need
Okay,
to apply.
okay. Only just once we have to apply.
Just run the thing, whatever the data I have run here.
Okay.
Then I will use in other cell also. No need to write again and again.
Okay.
But because of the teaching purpose, I am using in each cell. So you know that I have commented this all.
Okay, fine. So
there is no need
okay,
of this.
So I mean, like once you have applied it, so you don't need to repeat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, once we have to apply only. In the each cell, no need to apply. Whatever you new function you use, then you have to write only that new function. Even the old data and the old object, you don't have to write there again and again. No need.
Okay, sir.
So here you see we have Mac in the here we have got the series index here in the series, but here these keys we are getting here. These are the keys. These are the values in the dictionary. So we are getting keys. We are not getting the indexing here. And the keys are as an index. Okay, keys are as an index here. Now I will show you. The data, the same data I am taking, so I will comment this. So I don't have to write again and again. I am just changing that index B, C, D, A. So see what happens here. So here I am getting D is not there. I have in my in this data frame. Only ABC is here. So, but I want in this way. I want first B, then C. So I will also get the value, corresponding value along with it. B1. So B1 I am getting. C2 I am getting. A0 I am getting. And the D is not there, so it will get NaN. It is a missing value, not a number. Yeah? In the Python, it is a missing value. So it is a missing value we have. Now we could create a series from scalar also. Now again we are coming to series, and the scalar is the 5, and we are making, we are replicating it. The 5 we are replicating 4 times. So I will show you here. It is a replication. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. It is the scalar. So we could make in this way also. We could access the data from series with position.
So please show me again the scalar part.
This one we have written here 5, and we have given the index how many times you require. So 0, 1, 2, 3 is here, and the 5 will repeat again and again. If you write here 51, you will get 51. The scalar you are getting, the scalar is a number.
So when do we use this function, sir, generally?
No. It's just I am showing you. Sometimes you require, then we unique function we won't use anywhere. The unique value we are getting in the whole column, it will not be any, it will not worth for us.
Yeah, so when you are doing any data analysis, no? So
Yeah,
that's what I
it will not work worthful for us. And one more thing we could do with this. One more thing I will tell you about that. Just a moment. Where we have create one series without that. We have converted the series here. We have changed the series from dict we have created. Okay, so I try one thing here, because it works or not I will see. I just doing it will give me some the length of passed values to index implies 4. Okay, it will not take it. In the R it do, but here it will not. You have to pass the 4 value for a 4 index value. Okay. Otherwise, the scalar you could take 1. Okay. As we have taken only 51. So we could take the 51 4 times, but we could not take the 2 numbers 4 times. I want to repeat those numbers. So
got it, sir.
It works in the scalar only. But position, if we see the assessing data through the position, it is same as we have seen in the list and the how to access the element. So S1 is the B. S1 is what we see. It is the S1. So I will show you S1. It is print this, and this is the 2. S1 is the 2. It is the index. So the value it will show us. No? The value will be 2. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is the we could call through the indexing. No? We could call through the this key also. These are the keys now, and the series indexing. We could write this index also, not the key in the dictionary. It is the series basically. You forget. So it is the indexing. We could also use this. I will show you later that there is some. You see colon then 3. I am asking it. So you will see what I am getting. 5, 1, 8. So 5, 1, 8 from 0 to 3. 0 to 2, not last will not be involved. So 0, 1, 2. This I will get here. Okay. If I want from 2 to 1 to 3, yeah.
So this is a bit confusing. In this cell, we are also declaring some index A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But still, we are accessing the series value by indexing as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We could also use this.
So why we're declaring index? As index is starts from 0, so we're declaring again A, B, C, D, E.
Okay, sorry. I don't have to put this. Just a moment. I see it. Print value we have to write there, the print item and the print value, the print key in the dictionary basically. I will see here print S I will write, and here I will write that A. I write here. I have to use this, I think. Yeah, I'm getting from. I just a moment. I see what output I am getting from A. I'm not getting this A. I have given something. Data 51890. Print A is not defined here, and right. So we are getting the complete. We have not seen here. We could access through this also, but in the dictionary it is very easy to access. I will see it in the later in the sum cell. I have written the command.
Yes, sir. That's what I have been asking, sir.
Yeah.
If we're declaring index as ABCD, so we can access from ABCD also.
Yeah, we could access it.
Instead of using 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
We could access it. I will explain you using label index. I have also written there. So because the R and Python sometimes mix the commands, so generally we don't use these things now. So we all generally forget these all. So here it is through that 0 to 3. If we want some range, if I want the range, I'm writing here 4, here 2. So then I will get in this way 8 and 9. It's the 2 and 3 I will get 2 and 3, 8 and 9. Okay. So this way I could take the range, and it is the -3, -3, -1, -2, -3. So -3, then I am putting colon after that. So
Yeah, negative indexing.
Negative indexing. So 5189. 5189. I am getting this. No, it is no. It is 4. Sorry. -3. Where is -3? It is. I have to run this one. That is the -3. -3. Then -2, -1. Okay. Colon I have used after this -3. Now retrieve that. We were doing the correct thing, but how we could not get there? Okay, we have put the square bracket outside it. Sorry, I have used this outside this, so it was the mistake there. So this we have, or if I comment this, there is no need of this.
So it was done.
We have already that, so I will do that. So it is 1.
Okay.
A. If I write C, we see what we get. Here is
yes, that is working.
So
okay,
that we have to write the square, write that
in codes.
Yeah. Here you see, I just mistake. I have just put outside. I have to put inside this bracket. So that was the thing. Okay. And here also we use this. That is the using labels, and here we use the same thing, and just comment it and retrieve multiple elements if you want. So we have to use the 1 square instead of 1 square bracket. You have to use 2 square bracket. One for the position and second for the list. We are passing the list. Is it clear, sir? Why 2 square bracket we are taking? 1 square bracket we generally take for the position. C for indexing or the position.
Yes.
And if you have the more than 1, then we use list. Okay. So this list we could apply there. Got it? In this way we could access it. Okay. Sometimes people were in the data frame and they confuse how to get the multiple values. No, in this way. So in this way, we could get the multiple values, whatever you want. So here also we have the same list. So I will make it comment, and I'm using F is not there in the index side, but I'm calling the F. So what I see, I will get some error. Okay, key error is F is not there. If there is no that key or the index, then it will give the error. Now we have some, I will not taken this random and random. I have not used, it's a very long chapter. It is in the number. So I am not running this one. And now we see dictionary. So in the dictionary, we could initiate the series. So I am printing this, so you will get in this way the dictionary. When I convert this dictionary in the series, so pd.series, and I will write the dictionary name. So I will get the dictionary in this way. Okay, previously we were studying about the series. Now we again studying about the dictionary. And this dictionary, you see in the dictionary, I am indexing BCDA. So it was the indexing BAC. Now what I am doing, BCDA. Okay, so it is from dict we are making series. So it is that way. We have seen it earlier also. The same thing I have done here. The scalar, it is the scalar I have explained. The second time I have write that. Okay, this I have given everything. The mean, median, we have already studied about it. So series is dict like we have. Okay. That's the, if you have to change the value inside, it is the key, it is the index. In the index, whatever the value you have, I will show you the value first. I will show you the value. So you have the 5. Instead of 5, I would like 12. I want to change the value. And then I will show you this. So you will see there is, instead of 5, there is 12 in the E. Previously it was 5, now it is 12. So we could edit, or we could substitute the value. Now we have a keyword. We already know that. If we want to know E is in S or not, that series. So it is true, E is there. We know that, but F is not there. So we could ask, so it is the false. It belongs to S or not. In means it belongs to it or not. Now we talk about the data frame. Okay. So data frame is two-dimensional label data structure with columns in potentially different types. The columns are different types. Some may be the integer, some may be the strings this way, and some may be the Boolean also, true and false. So you can think of it like a spreadsheets or SQL table, or the, you could say it is a Excel sheet, or a dict of series objects. And it is generally the most commonly used pandas object, like series data frame accepts many different kinds of inputs. So we work mainly on the data frame, not even on the series we don't work. Mostly we work on the data frame. The most 99% we work on data frame. So it is very important to understand the data frame. A dict of 1D ND array, list dicts and the series. So we see, we come to the point and we see this from dict of series or dicts. So what we are doing, I'm making one series. This is a series. I'm making a series, PD series, and this is another series I am making. So I'm giving two names, 1 and 2, and I run this, and I have two series. Okay. So it was the print D. It is the one, which is A. 1 0, and this I am getting. Now I am converting this is the series. Basically, what is this? Can somebody explain me? What is this? Watching this output, can you guess what is it? Which data type is it?
Concatenation, sir. Concatenation.
No, not a concatenation, but that is the operation. But I am what data type is it?
Panel.
What data type? It's a dictionary. It's a dictionary. You see,
Yeah, creating series.
dictionary having two series. Dictionary having two series. we have this dictionary because the curly brackets are here. So it what does it represent? It's a dictionary. So from dict of series or dicts, है ना? So dict of series, dictionary of series we are taking here. I have written here dict of series, dictionary of series. है ना? We have a 2 series in a dictionary. Got it now? है ना?
Yes.
So we are having 2 series in a dictionary, and the series are like this. You will see, and now we are converting this dictionary into data frame. Okay, so the function you write, you memorize this very carefully. That D is capital and F is capital, but now it is case sensitive. If you write the data frame, some people write in this way. They say it is not working, sir. Command is not working. So don't write in this way. Always the F is capital here. Okay. So it is very important. Keep this in mind whenever you use the data frame here. So DF equal to PD dot data frame. For this dictionary, we are converting it and we are imprinting it. So you see, it's very, very nice. And both ABC and ABC in both, but the D is not here in the second one. So in the first one, D is not there. So it is giving us the value nan. Okay. The largest variable length it will take. I mean to say that the series has a different length. First series has length 3 and the second series has length 4. So that whatever the in this dictionary you see, we are getting one here and another here, BCD, ABC and ABCD. We are getting in this way in the dictionary. But whenever we convert them in the data frame, it will take the length of longest series. Okay. And here PD dot data frame, I am making indexing, I am doing DBA. So see what happens. DBA. It is now converted in DBA only. I don't have here C. In this data frame, I don't have C. I have taken this data frame. D is what? D is this one. Okay. So here I am taking only DBA. So I could take whatever I want. Otherwise, if I just write and run this with the dictionary name, it will take the length of longest series in the column. Now I want to change columns 2, 3, 1, 4. Okay, I am making 2 more columns. And I have 1 and 2 is there already. And this is the DBA. I have the indexing is the DBA. Okay, it will be there. And the D I am taking. In the D, you see what? D is the dictionary we have. And the dictionary is like this. In the dictionary, we have ABC and ABCD. 2 series are there in the dictionary. And the in dictionary, I want only indexing. DBA is the indexing. I will got this similar indexing. But the columns I will get 1, 2 instead of 1, 2. I want first column 2 first on the first place. Then 3 column, which is not here available. But I am creating 1 3 column. I am inserting this that column 3 is there, and column 4 is also. So I see what happens now. Look at this. It will create the column. If there is no element, it will create the column with nan. Then you fill up the value. Also, the empty column it will create there. Or the attribute is the columns. You could change the name of the columns. Okay. So this is the thing. And when a particular set of column is passed along with the dict of data, the passed columns override the keys in the dict. I will show you. So this is the 1 and 2 in the DF. DF I will show you. Where DF I have converted here. This is my DF. This is my DF. Okay, this is my DF. So I will show you that DF A, B, C, D. Here you see A, B, C, D. This is my DF. Okay, 1, 2. Here you see 1, 2, DF. I have not written the print. If I return the print, it will come in this way. Okay, it will, sorry, in this way. So it is showing me this, and I want to know df.index. So it will show me the index ABCD are the index of this data type is object. If I want to df.columns, so index will go me show me the row names, and the column will show me the column names. df.columns. So df.index is the row name basically, and df.columns is the column names. Now we see the dict of ND array list. Now we are taking the list. We are taking the list, and we are taking the list and making it as a dictionary. Yeah? We are making a dictionary with two lists, 1 and 2. Previously, we have taken the series, Pandas series, and in a dictionary. Now we are taking the two lists in a dictionary, and we see this is our two list in one dictionary. I am also converting this. So I will get the same thing. There will not be any different in the data frame. And ABCD, I would want to write the index. So index you see here is the 0, 1, 2, 3, because you have not given the index name here. So it would take the default index starts with 0 to 1. So if I run this, so it will change the index name. Okay, so the row names, whatever you want, you could give here also. It is the 2D data frame. Okay. So it is a data frame basically. It is the pandas is very, very useful. Now we have some more list of dicts. Okay. And dicts of tuples, and it is not much important. I will explain instead of that. I will explain it from structure to record array. So in this case, Henry identical for dict for arrays. So we generally use this np.zeros. It is not compulsory. I have not explained much more about these zeros, and one is empty. So we will not discuss here these two things, and we will discuss here the list of dicts. Okay. So here is a list. We have taken the, previously you have taken the dicts, dict of lists. Now the list of dicts, the inverse of that. Got it? Now the dictionary in list. Previously the list were in dictionary. Is it clear? So now we are taking
Yes, sir.
we are taking the dictionaries in one list. There is a square bracket for list. Two dictionaries we are taking in one list, and it is the data2 name I have given. So I'm getting this list, and now I converting these in PD data frame. You will see. Okay. There is only two keys, two columns we have, A, B. We have three columns. It will take the three columns. Okay. So the first list, which is this one, 1, 2, two elements, two values are there. Then the third C column was not there. C key was not there. So it is written his name. In the second list dictionary, you see, we have this. So this is the second dictionary. This is the first dictionary. Okay. So it is in this way you could do it. And we could give the index name first and second instead of 0 and 1. So we could write the PD data index first, second. So if I write this, see what happens, first and second. Indexing we are giving first and second. Okay. So it is in this way. We could give the columns A, B. So it is the columns, and maybe the C will remove, I think. C will remove. There is the only two columns. Okay. If I create here D, you will get one more column. Just a moment. I run this. You see. In the columns, it will add. Okay. From dict to tuples, we don't use tuple. I have not used tuple in anywhere in the machine learning. We get the output only in tuple sometimes. And 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So you run this and you see what are the
Sir,
output.
in one data frame command, we cannot execute both columns and index.
One data command what? Both dot.
We cannot execute both columns and index. Like we cannot specify columns.
No, we could, no problem. I will
Can
show
you
you.
show that one? Yeah.
I will show you. Okay. So I am showing you this all in the EDA script. I will share this also and the EDA script. So we are starting the EDA where we could do see these all things with pandas. Okay. So the EDA we will see exploratory data analysis. I will explain you there everything because we will there read the CSV file. Okay. And then I will show you properly. Someone asking to me some question? We are doing here exploratory data analysis. And it is a technique of understand the various aspects of the data. And that we want to understand the
Can we use
behavior.
Mongo database for importing data?
Yeah, we could.
Pandas.
We could import it.
Mongo database.
Yeah. In the Mongo database and the
How
SQL.
can we configure that one?
Okay. We will see it. Okay, sir. We will see it. We need some the library what require we see, and as per that we could import the data from different databases, MongoDB and SQL and so on. And so I will explain you, but it is all the part of our advance. Okay. So here we see how to read the files which are in our system. Okay, sir. So there is I am calling few libraries here. I am calling pandas. I am calling NumPy. I am calling matplotlib, pyplot, splt. It is for the data visualization. And seaborn is also for data visualization. So mostly we work on the seaborn, and the seaborn is the top of matplotlib. It is the part of matplotlib, we could say. The both work together. Dot pyplot. Pyplot is also the sub of that. Matplotlib is not a small one. It's a big library package. So we are not importing everything. We are just importing the Python plot from that matplotlib. Matplotlib is used in many programming languages. So we are just using the, if I use call the R matplotlib, then it will take very
Sir, here I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in Matplotlib, PyPlot is one of the libraries. Sir, what other kind of sub libraries are there in Matplotlib?
You could search on the net also, no?
Okay.
You could search on the net. There are so many things. And the Python is not a small, like R. R is a very compact language.
Yes.
And Python is not a compact language. There are so many things. I can't say that I am a master of Python. So I know the few things. No, very few things. The Python is not it's a general language.
Right.
There are so many things, and daily new things are coming there. So I have not seen each and every corner of that.
Sir.
Thing. Yeah.
Sir, you have told about that import matplotlib.pyplot as plot. So what is the implication of this matplotlib inline? Can you please explain this one?
It will show you the whatever we make the graphical presentation. It will show inline below this, whatever the cell we will use, it will blow the graphical representation there only. So that is for we write this.
Okay, so that means for every kind of EDA we have to use this inline.
Only in Jupyter we use this.
Okay.
Not in other IDs. In the PyCharm, no need to write this.
Okay.
In other Spider, there is no requirement of it. It works only in the Jupyter. It is required only in the Jupyter.
Okay. Sir, I have one question here.
Yeah.
Sir, why we are writing this percentage matplotlib inline? What is the implication of that command, sir?
it will give the graph below the cell, wherever you write the command of the graph, it will show the graph below
All right.
that cell. If I don't write this, then the graph, whatever you prepare the graph, it will not shown below this. If I run this plot and then I want to show the graph here, as we print the commands, so we use the print command and we get that. So here it is for that it will show the whatever you want to show.
Okay,
The
sir.
graphs, it will show on the below that cell. That is for
And-
that purpose. Yeah.
And about Seaborn, sir, what is the Seaborn library?
Seaborn is also a library which is top of Matplotlib. It is we integrate both, and this both together works in the graphic in the Python. Sometimes you could only use the Matplotlib, sometimes you use the Seaborn, but along with Seaborn, Matplotlib is mostly compulsory. But the both of the functions it used for it used from Matplotlib.
Okay.
It mostly depends on the Matplotlib, we could say.
Okay.
Internally. Okay. So that is very compulsory. When you run the Seaborn, that is compulsory to run the Matplotlib.
Okay.
There's some themes and everything that they interchange, no? Both the libraries.
Okay.
They interact.
Okay.
Matplotlib alone you could run, but whenever you run this Seaborn, there is a need of Matplotlib. Sometimes in the few graphs it will not take in that way as you run with the Matplotlib. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So here I have one data set which is the cars. Okay. This is the data set I have, cars. I'll show you this data set here.
Sir, Python has ready-made. Python has a repository of few data sets. Is it,
Yeah.
sir?
Yes.
Sir, how to access that?
Okay, I will explain. We have to see the data names. You could search the data names here, but here in the we could not. But on the net, we search the data names and then we call it. The empty cars is also there. So many data sets are there. Okay. So we are taking one data sets here. That is for the learning purpose. That is good to use the Python few data sets. But here, what I am in the EDA, I want to explain you how to read the file which is in your system. Okay.
All right.
And that is the thing here. So here we have a data set like for the empty cars data set, it is the model name. There are 32 cars. Their model name is given, and along with model name, there are 11 variables we have. So total number of variables are 12 with model name. There is the mileage of the car, displacement of the car, and horsepower of the car, draft of car, weight, QSEC, type of engine, vertical and straight. It is the vertical, basically the V-shaped engine. Okay. So here I have written vertical. Basically, it is the V-shaped engine. And the gear transmission is a manual and automatic. The number of carburetor is given, number of cylinder and number of forward gears. The reverse gears is always 1. So number of forward gear is given. So these are 32. We have the total observations and 12 variables we have here. So we see. So first we read this. So what command we have to use for the read underscore CSV for the CSV and write the name of the file and with the extension in quotes. Okay. And the PD for pandas. The pandas has a right to read this.
So I was trying to import a file and like I just opened it on my system, but Python says that this does not exist.
I will show you. I run this. I have not run this first cell up to now. No? I'm run this.
Sir,
I will get the error.
Sir, before running this, accessing this data set, we have to upload the data set in the Jupyter notebook, sir, is it?
You could upload from here.
Okay.
Wherever the data set, you could call it and this button is there.
Okay. All right, sir.
Excuse me,
So,
sir.
Yeah.
Hello. What if we want to import the data from a different folder that is not in the Jupyter?
So you see here, you could upload that file from that folder, clicking here.
All right.
You will get this pop-up window. Wherever in the folder, you could click there and you select and open it. So you will get that file here.
All right.
Okay, suppose I have a file here and the CSV file I have, I will show you. Sorry, I have file. Suppose this data set I have, bank full. I open it. So I'm getting here that bank full data, bankfuls.csv I've got here. It's okay.
It's okay. Thank you.
So you could take the data from this, upload from here. First of all, you have to run this libraries. Then you could read this one. Okay.
If I have two data sets or different formats, then I can import. Same
Yeah,
thing.
you could import the both data.
One CSV, one TST.
You could import both.
Then I can do any SQL queries on that one.
We have to see the command, the basic command. The TST, I think that this one is the TXT command. Or we could also search from that in the pandas cheat sheet. I will share with you. Okay, pandas cheat sheet I have, so I will share with you how to read the data from pandas. So a few cheat sheets are there. Matplotlib is there. Pandas I have the cheat sheet. I will share the cheat sheets with there. So we'll get all these small commands over there in the cheat sheet. Okay, sir. So what you have to use here? I don't know. I don't have the text file here. So if I run, I could get the error or what we could see. But I don't have the text file here, so I could not use this one. So for read underscore CSV, I am using for the CSV format. And if I run this, you will see there is no error. Mean it works. And now we see what is in our file. So first we see the head of the file. Head means the first 5 observations we get here. So we are getting first 5 observations, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you see these all number of layers and senators, all that will vary. Yeah.
Sir, is there any other way to read a file apart from this which you have used?
You are reading this you could read in this way separately.
No, just you just go to that EDA folder.
Yeah.
You have said that is MD equal to PD.read underscore CSV car CSV. So apart from this, is there any other ways to read my file?
You could read if you have a big file, it will take very long space in your RAM.
Yeah.
I run this.
Okay.
I've got all that.
Okay.
But it will not, if a big file, it will not show all the rows or all the columns. It will give some dots there. Okay. And then it will continue the last few numbers. But here only the 32, so it is showing us.
Okay.
Okay. So we generally use head. So MD dot. So MD is now under PD. Okay. So we don't have to use the command PD in the data frame. So we use the name of the data frame only now. Okay. So head, you know that head is a function. So we'll run this. And if I want not 5, I want 10 observations, top 10. So I could write here 10. I will get the 10 observations. Got it? In default, you will get 5 observations, top 5 observations. Or if you want to change the number of observations you want to watch, then you could put that number in there. You could write here 15. You get the 15. Got it? Is there any doubt now?
So instead of 0 to, we are getting 15 observations, but the first observation is numbered as 0, no sir. So is there any way to
indexing will start with 0 in Python?
Yeah, so So is there any way to change that, or we get
We
to
could
this
change
way
it.
only?
We could change it. We could change it.
Okay. How do you do that, sir?
Okay, I will explain.
Sir, if it is zip file means what we can, how can we import?
What?
Zip file, zip file.
Zip file you have to open first, then you could read here. No? Direct zip file, how we could read anywhere? We have to open that zip file, then we could run that whatever the files are there in the format.
Sir, in this Jupyter lab, only a CSV file works, right?
No, other Excel, everything you could read here.
Oh, Excel also works. Also.
Yeah. Every file, no problem. There is a different commands, but in the small session,
Sir,
yeah.
If I want to access a Word file which contains a table, can we access?
No. That not for the data format file. It's not in
Then what about access MS Access file?
Excel file?
No, Access MS Access, the database.
We could access it also. We could access it. I will show you a little bit. Just a moment. Change the name. That is the linear regression, the logistic regression. We have changed the name. Just a moment, I see if you have used somewhere. Should be. We want to convert these in model name, suppose. So we could do it.
So there's no column heading serial number in the CSV file.
Yeah, we could change the number here. Where is that file? This one is here. I'm giving this name. Sorry. Now you see. The index number has been changed. Index, I have taken this column instead of index.
Okay. So if you have to start from instead of 0, 1, 2, 3, if you have to start from 1.
We have changed this. If you want 1, 2, 3, then you have to make one column.
Now we have replaced the.
You could develop one column from 1 and that, and then you could, in place of this, you could write it. Okay.
Okay. Got it, sir.
You could write this on that place. Okay. first we have to create one column and then you could write there. You could shift to the index. So it is
Okay,
the I have prepared it, and again I read this because the other script may affect. So what I am doing here, I will like to explain you about
What's
this. I will tell you about the tail, MD and dot tail. You will get the last 5 observations of. We get the last 5 observations of your
Sir,
data set. Yeah.
The opposite of head. The opposite of head functions.
What?
sir, I would like to ask one thing here.
Yeah.
Sir, what this command in place equal to true signifies?
Yeah.
So what this command in place equal to true signifies?
In place true for the index, we want to place this. Okay. So we have to write this, the attributes we have to write always in place equal to true. If you don't use it, we see what happens.
Let's see, sir. Yeah.
You could try yourself, but it will get a very long time. We have half an hour and we have to finish this script today.
All right.
Okay. So this you do yourself. I will share with this. Okay.
All right.
So here we see the tail. Tail is the last 5 observations. And whenever we see any data frame, so we have seen the head and tail. Now we want to know the shape of the data frame. So it is the attributes we are using. Attributes are without round brackets. No, shape is an attribute. So we see the 32 rows and the 12 columns are there. Now we see the columns name. We see the column names are there. And you want to know how many unique values are there, n uniques. So you see in the first column, there are the 32 unique values because all 32 model name are different. In the mileage, few values are same, and the out of 32 few values are same. So 25 unique values are there. In the displacement, there are 27 values in the chart, and this way. Few columns here you see it is the categorical basically, 2 unique values. Number of carburetors, we have 6 unique values, and the number of cylinder, we have 3 unique values, and the number of forward gears, we have 3 unique values. Okay, so we have three unique values are here. And whenever you get the few unique values, then you convert them in strings. It is a discrete variable basically. The number of carburetors, number of cylinders, and number of forward gears are discrete variables. These are the numeric, but these are discrete. This is not a continuous variable. These all are 25, 27, 22, 22, 29, and 30. You have the out of 32 are the high unique values we have. And so these are continuous, but these are not continuous. These are the categorical, we already know that. So this we have to convert in string later. Okay. And one more thing, there is a describe function which will give us the summary, a few point summary, like count it is giving 32, mean of variables it is giving us all the numeric variables. Okay. Standard deviation it is giving, minimum value, first quartile, median, third quartile, and the maximum value. So we are getting these statistics here of each column, and for understanding the behavior of the column. So any unique I have explained you, but if you want to know in the gear how many categories are there, just like a gear transmission, you see. So what we MD and the square bracket you write in the quotes the column name and dot unique, not n unique. N unique for the number of uniques. It will use for the whole data set. It will use for the particular variable. So you see here we are getting the manual and automatic. There are 2 categories. And the response will be in an array. And here you see in the type of engine, we have the vertical and straight. Okay. Now we want to see how many null values are there. So MD dot is null dot sum, the number. Sum means will give us the number. And the is dot null will give us the true and false. If I remove this and I run this, you will get the true and false. there is everywhere you will get the false. It means there is no null value. If true, it is null value. There is no true. Okay, in this data set. If I ask about this, the sum, so it will count the true, how many trues are there, and it will give the in that way the response. So you will see if I run this sum. So
You get 0, sir.
Average 0. Okay, so mileage is 0, displacement, there is no null values there. This is very important. AMD.info, it will give the information of your data set about the, it is the zero index model name, and it is the your data type. This column is very important. First is the object, is the categorical. Second is the plot 64, it is the numerical. This one numerical, this one numerical, 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 then object, then numerical. So this numerical, we have seen that this have the very few unique values. So we'll convert them in strings. Okay, so how we convert them in strings? Because they are the discrete variables. So the discrete we convert in strings. So we convert these strings in the AMD. In the double quotes, you will write this, the name of the column, and is equal to, and this same thing you have to repeat here, and dot s type strings. You will write in all the 3 columns, and you see here it is the integer 64. So now I will show you the information. You see these are the objects now. All 3 are objects now, and now we see the head. So this is our head. We have seen it is the head original. We have kept in the indexing as it was earlier, and it is looking the same. It will look like it is a numeric, but it is now object. Now I will see. I will not drop this. I will take this, and I am taking the correlation. I want to create a heat map. While doing the exploratory analysis in the numerical variables, between numerical variables, among numerical variables, I want to see the correlation. So md.corr and the small, the round bracket, and I am giving the object name correlation. Okay, and I print it. I will show you what is the correlation I am getting. I am getting automatically, it will select only the numeric columns. It will not select the strings columns. Strings columns, we know that the string columns, it has not been selected. Number of carburetor, number of cylinder, number of forward gear is not there. There is also not the gear transmission and the engine type, and whatever it has not been given. So it is only the numerical it will take when you find out the correlation. Now the correlation is this one. I have printed here. Now I want to make a heat map. So when you make a heat map, you take this here, this object, and the X tick labels correlation dot columns, and Y also I am taking the correlation dot columns. The same thing I am taking both. No problem if you take one this and one this. The same is annotation is true. I want. So you see, we are getting this. This is the negative one. This is the positive one. So the darkest is the negative side. With the very, very darkest minus 0.85 between mileage and displacement. With the, and the between horsepower and the mileage, you see minus 0.78. But the draft and the mileage is a positive correlation, 0.68. And QSEC and mileage, you see it is also a positive correlation, 0.4. Okay. So in this way, we get the correlation heat map. And we could also produce a SNS I am using. You know that it is a Seaborn library I am using here. Seaborn.
So these colors are inbuilt, sir?
Inbuilt. We are not taking any palettes here. You could take the palettes also, but it is a different script of Seaborn and the Matplotlib. And that is an advanced course.
Okay, sir.
Okay. We could make it very, very pretty more. So it is the SNS.heatmap. And you see in this way we get it. And now we'll show you the pair plot. So you'll see the pair plot here. It will take a little time. It is running. The asterisk is there, but it's working. Okay. So we have to little wait for this. It is still working. take little time. Now, it is the pair plots for the same data and the mileage and mileage we will get the bar plot with the same, but with other you will get the scatter plot. Okay. So in this way, the commands are very simple. Commands are very simple.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
From the heat map,
Yeah.
so there is no p-value for us to know whether the correlation is significant or not. So
Yeah.
is there any other indication that we can use to see whether there is significant difference or not?
It is just giving us the degree of correlation. It is not giving the significant, whether it is significant or not significant. We have to use the correlation test there. We have to conduct the correlation test if you want the whether the significant correlation or not. Is it clear, sir?
Yeah, it's clear.
That is the correlation test we have to apply. If we could not say if some between two variables the correlation is 0.8, suppose, it doesn't mean there is significant correlation between them. We could say high degree correlation between them, but we could not say the correlation is significant or not.
All right, all right.
It will come out through the test, which is based on the t-test. T-test is based on, there is a correlation test, there is different formula for the t-test. That is the 1 minus r square, and like this, this is the formula, root n minus 1, like that, something. So through the correlation, it's find out.
All right.
Okay, sir.
So what are these pair plots? Could you explain?
Pair plots. Pair plots will show you all the scatter diagram with the variables. It is a very big one. We could not see properly here. So it is the x and y variable we have given here. Drought and mileage, you see, it is a negative correlation. Look at here. The x is increasing, y is decreasing. So mileage, if we increase the drought, it is the drought or what? Displacement, sorry. It is the displacement. If we increase the displacement in the piston of a car, the mileage will decrease. It is showing in this way. It is also negative correlation. This is the positive correlation. This is the negative correlation. This is also the positive correlation, but low degree positive correlation. Though too much scatterness are there.
According to diagram, how can I conclude that which part is suitable for these values?
Through the diagram, we could just take a overlook of the trend. What is the pattern there, the negative, whether or positive, or we could just.
How can you suggest that it is perfect suitable for this?
What is the positive negative? Clearly, you asked again. I could not understand you.
Yeah, also we have so many inbuilt plots are there, diagrams in. We have values. Which value is suitable for which plot? How can we decide?
Which plot? Okay.
Profit, loss, or variations.
Okay. Suppose we have a different sort of plots, like in the data visualization, we discussed this all in very detail, but I tell you in brief something like that. If we have a numerical value in a variable, single variable, I am talking about first the univariate, single variable, which is a continuous, okay, like continuous, like a mileage. So in the mileage, what you could do, you could make a histogram. You could produce a histogram for mileage that is a continuous variable. If you have the discrete variable, like we have seen the number of cylinder, we have converted in strings. So for these discrete variables or the categorical variables, we could produce bar plots, which on the y-axis it will show the frequency. In the both plots, in the histogram also it will y-axis, it will default for frequency. On the x-axis will give the values, and in the discrete data on the x-axis will give the categories. This is for one. If you have one categorical and you have to compare two variables.
Can you suggest any site for regarding this one to get information?
What? I could not. Yes, sir.
For each plot, this type of, we have to take it.
Okay, I will explain this. Just a minute.
Any site is there?
No, site is you could search on the net also. there is nothing much difficult to select the type of graph. If you have the two variables, both are the numeric, then you will take the scatter plot like this. You will take the scatter plot, both the numerical variables. If you have the one numerical and the one categorical variable, then you could use the box plot for that. On the x-axis, you will get our categorical. On the y-axis, you will get the numerical. So we'll see these all sort of plots. I think the sum of are there. The sum may be in the some other script. So
Sir, if I want to find out the correlation between only two variables,
yeah.
So then what would be the code? Suppose
you could write both the variables here in.
Okay, so this correlation equal to md.core and then mpg comma disk or mpg comma hp.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will show you some more here. It is a relation plot, the weight and mileage, and I am taking the type of engine. If I not use this type of engine, I remove this first and I see. This is the scatter plot. So both variables weight and mileage are my numeric variable, or I have prepared one scatter plot with the both numeric variables. So it's a very simple syntax. The SN is the library name dot relation plot, relation for the correlation. So relation plot I am using. Now I want to bifurcate this. I want to bifurcate this with type of engine. The type of engine, we know that the vertical and the state type of engine I have mentioned there. So I am using here as the attributes, and I will show you. So you will see that the type of engine vertical and state. So it is basically it is a scatter diagram as it was previous, but it has allocated the allocated through this color orange and blue. The orange are the state engine. So if you see the highest mileage vehicle has a state engine, okay, and the lowest mileage vehicle have vertical engine. And the vertical engine vehicles have more weight, higher weight than state engine. So this interpretation we could get out of through this plot. So I have taken here three dimensions, three variables I have taken. The weight, mileage, which two are the numeric, and the one is the categorical. Okay. And now I will show you the disk plot, the distribution plot. So it will show me both things. It will show me the histogram as well as distribution, like one curve and the this density curve it will provide me like that. It is the distribution plot. And it is for the mileage. It is the numerical. So numerical I could make the distribution, the histogram, which I explained you. There is a Kate plot. Kate plot is for the box plot. I have the mileage. I am just making for the mileage only. So you'll see in the box plot, I will get the minimum mileage and the maximum mileage. There is one outlier also. And these are my first quartile. This is my median. This is my third quartile. This is my maximum. And this is the outlier one. This is the minimum. Okay. This I have prepared already. And this is all about our weight I have taken instead of mileage. Here I have taken mileage. Here I have taken weight. So these all sort of plots we could produce there. Okay. I will show you some more if I have. I see the logistic. If I get.
Sir, can we display any dashboard? It is one dashboard.
Dashboard. Again? What?
Can we show any dashboard? Any libraries there in pandas and MPs?
Okay.
Dashboard. If I want to show some dashboard like stock available, stock sale.
Okay, that we could see in the Tableau also. The Tableau is a data visualization
But
software
in
basically.
Python, it will not, you have to take so much.
Yeah, it is for the report work you could do that. It is the
Yeah.
CBarn. If you write, then you will see the how many types of plots are there. You could click here and you will get also the syntax for this here. Okay, and the data set is also there. We could use. Okay, so in this way we have the different sort of plots. We could see the gallery also. Yeah, we have relation plot. This is also a kind of relation plot basically. And this is the box plot. You will get the syntax of this box plot. There are various syntax for that. We have used the cat plot there. We could also use the box plot. This we could also use there.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can we plot a QQ plot in Python?
Yeah, you could plot QQ plot also in Python. Just a moment. Somewhere I have created here in this. QQ plot is for the normality of that. So we could use the QQ plot also. I have created somewhere. I see whether it is in this script or not. There are 3 residual plots we also produce there. But we have to see the syntax. What is the syntax of QQ plot? So we could see the syntax. So you could search in this way also.
Seaborn. Okay.
Seaborn QQ plot. Okay. So you will get the everything you could see. Now the internet is very easy. We could search the thing. This is the QQ plot they are using, but it's not very proper. There should be one line also. It is not showing the line.
Yeah, QQ line.
And that is not, it is after they are giving some command for that line. Okay. So we'll see the different lines. They have the zipper length, separator length, height 5, and the spec box width. And then a display KWS they have given there. So this is the command you could get from here, and the copy and paste, and you could draw that.
Okay.
Okay. There is a matplotlib is also better for that. I think the matplotlib it will give the better. So sometimes you search in both. Okay, it is the Quantel plot. Okay. What happens here? You could see in the library in the field. You could also easily search it. Okay, no problem. So there are so many things you could get through the internet also. You just search the thing, whatever you want to know, you type there with Python and what. So you will get something there. You know? So it's not a very compact language. It's very wide. There are so many libraries and the commands are very different. For the box plot, you have the cat plot command also. You have the box plot command also. So the commands are too much commands are there. So just a moment. Okay. So where is it? Yeah. So that is the EDA analysis we could do for the numerical variables. We could work with our this describe function. We could find out the different statistics. We could also use the.
And you imported the CSV file, but I want to import the CSV file into some database, MySQL or Mongo or.
Okay.
And how can
So-
we write the command? This data will be loaded into some database.
Okay. Okay. There is a MySQL connector you have to install first, and then we could use it.
Okay, install MySQL drivers.
And MySQL.connector. That is very. I have not installed it, so it will not run here. Okay, sir. So that is the connector we have to use it, and then we could use the data. And similarly, in the MongoDB, we could use. I will show you the MongoDB database. Import MongoDB. You will get everything. You can connect to MongoDB, create a free database. We have to create the SQL and the MongoDB database there, you know, and then we could import it. So there is a import Mongo client. So this we have to import the Mongo client. We have to import from that. Okay, sir. You could you read this and you will get all the instructions there. It's very easy. It's nothing in the Python. You will get lots of stuff on the internet, but it requires some time. It's the workshop. It's for giving you the sequence, how to start and how to work with it. There are so many things. I am not perfect in every corner of the Python, but I am expert in the machine learning part, and data science, analytics, and machine learning. So I know very well only those things.
Okay.
So that is the thing you could use. It's very easy. Whatever you write in the net with Python, whatever you might, you could get the stuffs there. So many things you will get over there on the net.
So MongoDB is like Jupyter or something?
No, it is a database like SQL.
Oh, okay, sir.
Oracle SQL, like it is a database different. So I will in the advance I will explain you how to download the Python with MongoDB and Python SQL. I am including in this course and the advanced Python.
So have you announced any advanced Python dates?
It will be on the next after 17th. It would be start the next week, not this week. I mean, the next week it will start from Monday or maybe Tuesday.
But registration yet not started, na sir?
No, not started. We will plan within 1 or 2 days. The day we have to decide from Monday or from Tuesday when we have to start it.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
So we will start it, and I will also share the curriculum for that workshop.
Plus, sir, please request them to share on the WhatsApp in case we are not used on a Facebook.
Share it in the WhatsApp group, sir.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
We will
share
definitely join that advance.
Okay. I will share the curriculum for that, because in this course, in the 6 days course, what happens from starting, because in the R we have had different curriculum. The curriculum what we have in the R, that is the statistical analysis and data analytics in R, in the foundation. The similar curriculum we have tried to keep in Python also, but Python base is very large base. Whatever the foundation is not a small one. There are so many things, so it is very difficult to cover in 6 days this all.
Yes, sir, it's clearly understandable.
Yeah, sir, we can understand that.
So today I have skipped so many things you are asking to me, because I don't want because that limited time we have. Tomorrow our class will be on the same time, and we'll see the inferential analysis there, and whatever the queries we had today remains, we will cover it tomorrow. Okay. So because
Okay,
the
sir. Sure, sir.
constraints of time, I avoid few people's queries. Okay.
Sir, regression will also be taught.
In the advance, it will be logistic regression, linear regression, lasso, rigid.
Okay.
Every sort of regression, because the people says only there are two regression, linear, raw is nothing. There is so many other things also. There is a how
Yes,
to there is an imbalanced data sometimes in the
Sir,
logistic
also
regression.
discriminant analysis is also.
Yeah. So, there is not a regression analysis, not a 1 or 2 day chapter.
Yes, that is one.
No, it's a big chapter. You have to explain the
Sir.
concept of the regression, everything.
Sir, if you start this, this advanced Python course, so how long you will take that?
There is a different Python advanced. The first advanced, second advanced, third advanced in this way.
Okay.
Every advanced course is for 10 days. It is for 10 days and alternate 10 days it will be.
Okay.
Because the one day we will give for practice and we give the assignment here.
Sir, can you please just mute off the other? Yeah, sir. Yeah,
so there is a 1 day for assignment. We give daily assignment in that case.
Okay.
Because if you don't do the practice, then you could not understand the next day class properly. So that is the thing. So we give daily assignment, and 1 day for assignment, you have to do the assignment, and the next day then class. So it is in the alternate days. So,
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, Likert scale analysis is done in Python.
What?
If we can add Likert scale analysis.
Yeah, we will learn it tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the session for Likert scale.
Okay, sir.
Tomorrow we will do it. And the inference analysis. There is a Likert scale analysis also there.
Okay, so tomorrow then we have this inferential analysis and
inference analysis only.
Only inferential analysis. Okay, sir.
Different side of type of test we will conduct there.
Sir,
yeah.
Sir, what you are planning to discuss in the advanced course? Are all these based on statistics?
No, we will discuss
or only to learn Python advanced level.
Python
advanced
level.
Python level.
Advanced Python level. We will learn
general Python advanced level, not based on statistics or any other subject.
General, like the OOPS. OOPS is the object-oriented programming. Like the class and the subclass and the different type of things we will study there then, and some visualization techniques also we will learn there in the Seaborn and the Matplotlib separately. Okay, not a small way. It would be in the depth. We will see the Seaborn and Matplotlib, and that is the main thing. Is the OOPS is very important, and it is not being. It is basically used in the machine learning part. OOPS, or object-oriented programming. It is not used in the data analytics part. Okay, so in the machine learning, it is very required. OOPS. So it is the knowledge of OOPS is compulsory. So Python OOPS we have to study there. That is for 2 or 3 days chapter, Python OOPS. So that is very important. We will learn these all things there in the Python advanced. And we learn very few machine learning algorithm, like the linear regression we will learn there. The logistic regression we try to cover in 10 days, but I am going to take some visualization library both, and the OOPS is also there. So we take how much it covers. Okay. I will see Mr.
Okay, sir.
Just a moment. Mr. Mukesh, are you there? Sir. I will see Mr.
No,
Mukesh.
sir.
Okay, I just asked him to join.
So tomorrow same time, sir.
Okay. So we wind up today, no problem. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So tomorrow we join and we few queries are there, remain there. So I will explain.
Tomorrow will be the last day, right?
Last tomorrow. Okay, sir. And the day after tomorrow, we have on Monday the R foundation are there. If you want to come, you may come. I know. So you could join it, and you could see the difference between R and Python. R is better for the data analytics. I know Python is better for machine learning and artificial intelligence. In the deep learning, the Python is better than R. Machine learning and deep learning part later on the artificial intelligence.
I think one advanced course is also starting, sir, right? In the R programming.
One advanced is also starting. If someone has done the foundation, you could also join the advanced one.
Monday or Tuesday, I guess it's starting.
Yeah, Monday it is starting 7 to 9, and the foundation is 5 to 7.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.